Welcome back, guys, to the StarCraft 2 Ready Action Cross match with Caldor and Wolf, and we have GSL versus GSL. Both Kessel players were eliminated just like last week, so...
Prime team against KSL. Huh? No. Let me say that again. Prime team against TSL. I was actually going to start to just go along with the sentence and start about creator, and suddenly this K moved into the TSL, and I'm like, wait a second, no, that doesn't make any sense at all. Matters of elimination, it can only be creator, but I'm still a little bit surprised. I don't think the Classic would be on... Well, the Classic would have been playing this well. I haven't seen Classic in ages, actually. So...
Yeah, I don't think it'll be him. I think it's got to be creator. That's basically... I mean, unless they have a newer Protoss that they're kind of pushing out here a little bit with this, then I think, yeah, it's going to be creator. We're going to have the same set of maps. We're going to have, of course, Entombed Valley, then Daybreak, and Ohana for our final match. It looks like the players are ready, so we're starting any moment now. Protoss against Zerg. TSL for the Zerg. You're thinking maybe more towards Symbol. I was thinking Hyun. You know, you feel like if it were Hyun, he'd be a little more aggressive, and I can see where you're going with that.
Hyun in the mid game is usually like really aggressive, and this was in this game
A little bit more passive, yeah.
It was a little bit more passive, a little bit more late game oriented. So I think that that it is Symbol. Of course, we have players like Shine, and Shine played really well when he was facing Pole. But just the matter of macro that we've seen, the matter of multitasking, lets me rather think it's a Zerg player that I would rank a little bit higher than Shine. That might be either Hyun, who is basically like roughly there as well, but Symbol, I think it's Symbol.
Okay, well, if he wins, we will find out for sure, and that's something that is going to be really exciting to see.
Oh, I already cheated. I made sure that I'm going to be told the name of the player later on. Anyways,
so
I have no clue at this point, but
yeah, well, you get to find out afterwards. That's part of what it gets to be when you work here like this. We get to find out everything.
What is part of the bet, by the way?
What?
What is part of the bet?
Part of the bet? What do you mean by this?
I mean, what are we betting about?
Oh, I thought you said bed. I was like, I don't know, like, there's several parts of the bed, like the frame and the mattress. I don't know. What do you think is fair? Next time we go to lunch or something?
Okay, deal.
All right. Bet's on.
Good.
What happens if it's neither? Then I guess we just call the bet off. If it's like TSL Ragnarok, it's like, I don't know.
Production team is like, then you have to buy me.
Yeah, so I guess if it's neither, then we buy Jay. We buy Jay dinner. Okay, all right, that's fine. All right, sounds good.
All right, guys, game has started. We are in the final. Let's get this party started with our Protoss and our Terran player here. Game number 1.
You mean Zerg?
Yeah, I meant the other Terran, you know.
Yeah.
Well, the Protoss nonetheless, he's starting for the Prime team, and we have him on Entombed Valley at the bottom left. And Legend, seriously, if you don't want me to throw up on the keyboard, stop that. Top left, we have the Zerg player. Legend is playing roller coaster here.
Legend is... He's taking all sorts of observing liberties when it comes to
What was in the chicken that those guys ate?
I don't know. Well, that pylon indicates a Forge Fast Expand, of course. Now, the assumed creator is going to be going for Fast Scout here.
Yep.
Close positions, gets lucky, will force the pool before hatch. No hidden drone.
On a 4-player map, that's always awesome as a Protoss. When you send your first probe out and you spot your opponent right on, it is so stressful when you actually have no idea what he's doing and then you arrive way too late in order to do anything about it. And we have this time a very, very safe opening again for the GSL Zerg. He's currently just going for the spawning pool. We don't have any shenanigans going on like a hatch first, which is sometimes a possibility, but not today.
If you hide the drone, you can go around and do that.
Our Zerg has enough luck with his Overlord, by the way. So both of them know immediately where their opponent is starting. Best starting positions for both of them. And let's find out what exactly the Protoss is going to do. Forge first this time, not going for an early Nexus.
He's trying to see if he's going to get pylon blocked. If he is, he goes for the third, and he instead, since the probe did not pylon block, goes for the hatchery at the natural. And pylon block is kind of hard to pull off at the pool timing like this. As you mentioned, Forge going down first. And we said this before, but the main question now becomes, what is the Protoss going to do? When will he take his third? Will he be aggressive on 2 bases? And that's going to possibly be decided by how he walls here. We saw that in his games against the Kespa Zerg.
Exactly, against the Kespa Zerg, one of the things that he also did was rely quite heavily on Blink Stalkers and a composition that was backed up by a few Immortals. But yeah, one other thing, for example, what do you think about this? In one of the last games, what we've seen is him actually blinking back with the Stalkers when the Infestors closed in and completely exposing the Immortals. I thought that was a little bit weird.
Yeah, he exposed up the Zerglings several times, as well as, you know, just everything else, the Infestors. So that was a bit weird.
That's usually what you try to save. Just make sure that you don't get attacked, that your Immortals stay alive. Everything else you can just warp in at the front, of course, because you don't want to lose too much. But especially against the Roach composition, those Immortals were kind of invaluable.
We saw no Roaches out of the player he played against as well. So if this TSL Zerg decides to go for a more Roach-heavy composition, we're probably going to see a different style. Obviously, we saw some Roaches on Ohana, but in the other games, not so much. Mutalisk composition on Daybreak, for example. And, of course, Ultra Ling Infestor on Entomb Valley.
+1 attack has been started, so once again, we see a gateway-centered strategy from our Protoss player. The third has also been spotted, so basically the Protoss is doing his homework quite well. Knows everything that is going on at this point. And I'm more interested in what exactly the Zerg is going to do here. He needs, of course, to make sure that there's a third base coming up from the Protoss player. If not, then there's going to be a pretty heavy two-base attack. But I really want to see what exactly our Zerg is going to do. Because at this point, there's no gas. He doesn't have a single extractor. He's completely relying on his lava for drones. And he has 3 queens, which is not that much. So he doesn't have a lot here.
Yeah, playing it a little bit skimpy. And here come the 3 additional gateways going up here, and we may see that 4 gateway pressure, but this is something that's kind of fallen out of practice. Making the 2 gases at the natural means that the Protoss player may spot that and think that he's got 4 gases already. I really like when players do this. Forward pylon goes up immediately outside the natural, and if he gets high ground vision, is that close enough to warp on the high ground? Just barely, yeah. He will be able to warp in 4 Zealots there if he wants to on the high ground.
Oh, those drones being caught a little bit off guard. The Zerglings, they know exactly what's coming, but there are not enough of them. That is not enough Zerglings. He needs to
and he's about to have a warp in too. You're so right, that's not even close to what he needs, and +1 is about to finish. Everything is timed out really nicely here for the Protoss.
He needs a few Spine Crawlers, exactly this, but nice, very well done with this with the 1 Stalker that he had. He's actually going to lose those 2 Zealots as well.
Well, with good micro, he may save them. A close call there.
Both.
Yeah, really nicely done by both players here.
Look how late this Roachborn is for the Zerg.
Yeah, it's nowhere near in time. If he figures this out and starts to capitalize on it with no Zergling speed out, he can make a bunch of Stalkers with his next few warp ends.
And there are 24 Zerglings. The Protoss player already has +1 attack upgrade, so those Zealots are going to 2-hit a Ling without a problem at all. This is so much pressure
and it's
here.
so hard to surround without speed. More Stalkers running in here. These units trying to actually escape right now. There's no way for them to actually fight. More Stalkers warp in, and they're actually going to get past the Lings as well. Not the best position for the Stalkers to be in, but the Zealots are actually cleaning up house here.
Yeah, indeed they do. With those upgrades, it's just way too much, and I'm a little bit worried for the Zerg at this point. With 46 to 41 Harvesters, the Protoss player is already in a really good economical position.
And it's not over yet.
Yeah.
He can't make any more drones right now. Well, he made 7, which is actually pretty cool considering that he still has enough Zerglings maybe on the way. But the thing is, with all the Zerglings he has, yeah, if they were all together, he could fend this off, but they're coming from 3 different hatcheries, so they're not always going to be together, and he doesn't have speed yet, so they're reinforcing him very slowly.
There are also no Roaches. Did he complete the Roach run?
Yeah, and he's got Roach speed on the way, but he's deciding not to make any Roaches. Nice Force Seals here. Great choice to warp in those sentries.
Yeah, with the newly warped in sentries, he can suddenly just force his opponent to stay put while he is taking down every single drone up here and also the Lings. Now the Roaches are being built, but this is still a pretty tough situation to deal with. The pylon is being attacked now. He actually takes down the pylon. Very important here.
He's still got that second pylon, but this first pylon being gone allows him to defend this a little bit easier, but the hatch is already gone. He's already low on production. Any roach that he makes just pops out and dies like these right here, because he's making them in such slow quantity. He didn't have the larva to make a big round of roaches, and now he's ahead 10 supply, but he killed the hatchery. He's got better production. He can actually just walk home with these forces, and he will.
Yep.
He will just walk home. The worker count right now 50 to 49 in favor of the Protoss. A great opening, a kind of rare opening these days, but he made it work. Really nicely done.
Yeah, this is definitely looking a lot more like Creator and like the way that he played against Lenok. This convinces me a lot more than the first 3 maps that he played, even though it wasn't necessarily bad. That was well timed, really well executed. And now the Zerg is definitely in a tough situation. He needs this third base. He's building the macro hatch in his main base, which I really like, something to fall back to. And he still has a pretty decent amount of harvesters. So even though he lost a few drones, he lost 12, he lost 13, which is quite a bit. He's still in a good position because he morphed in so many.
Something to note is that 3 additional gateways are going down, Blink, and +2 on the way, more Immortals. No third Nexus yet. He is setting up a wall. If he wants to, though, a lot of Protoss players would try to follow this up with a big attack since they know their opponent's production is limited and they're going to want to be redroning. Nice cancel there. I didn't think he was going to be able to get it. He may actually just not make the Nexus as the creep is still blocking him, and he may just go for a big attack trying to capitalize on the fact that his opponent's production is limited. That pylon, by the way, from earlier that's near the natural is still up, so he can use that if he wants to.
He could also just try to fake a Nexus here and cancel it. Look at how many units he has. He's currently not building too many probes. Now he just started again. But he has the +2 attack upgrade now on its way. He has a lot of Immortals already. So if he warps in units, instead of letting this Nexus finish, he would have an army. I mean, this army supply is currently at 59 to 76.
But with Blink and +2.
And the Immortals.
Yeah, and here comes a Warp Prism.
Exactly.
It's starting to look like this is going to be a cancel. He's got a cannon going up. He can fall back to the Nexus and attack, actually, if he wants to. That's how ahead he is with how much damage he did with that early push. Anything is possible here. There's a huge group of roaches. About 26 of them set up to go over for a counterattack as soon as he spots the Protoss army moving out. And this is exactly what the Zerg needs, because this will actually force the Protoss back.
Yeah, when those units arrive in time, then he needs to retreat. And, well, Contaminate being used, the Overseer is dead, and the Nexus is most likely going to finish in on the rest.
Yeah, it looks like he's not going to go for that.
Look at this army. This is not just a number game. This is just basically the unit composition that we see. He's actually supply blocked at this point.
Yeah, losing that Overseer was a bit painful for him in that regard. Also, you know,
the toss.
Yeah, they both are actually. Losing that third hatchery meant his production was so limited. He made a ton of roaches to make sure he could defend, but in the end, right now the Protoss is really starting to capitalize on that third base. The Zerg just now finishing his new third hatchery. Seeing a counterattack of roaches now.
The Warp Prism drops are not doing too much damage, but they are at least forcing the Zerg back a little bit, especially with his drones. And now the counterattack at the bottom left, he's moving in. And this is the best scenario that he actually could hope for.
Yeah.
But those Spinecrawlers, they will not finish in time, even though he's controlling the choke point, but with Blink he's able to just completely negate this advantage that the Zerg player had here. And with all those Immortals, this is just way too much. Those Spinecrawlers, a few of them might finish, but I don't think it's enough to take down this army.
Yeah, and the problem for the Zerg really is that he doesn't have a mobile force like Mutalisk to use in this scenario. Now all the Spines are dying. And yeah, he's got more drones out, for example, but with just the warp and the Stalkers and the economy of the Protoss, he's going to have too much.
He has only 14 drones left against 30.
I just mean like drones to hide buildings. He definitely is not, his economy is shot.
He has 4 drones, that's all he has. 3, and well, this is not looking good. Not at all. His supply is already down to 61, and our Protoss player is at 131 supply still. His third base is kind of safe. He's building more cannons, 2 additional ones. He has the Stalkers there. It looks like this is going to be GG.
It definitely will be. The next wave of Ling is coming across. Yeah, he stopped the he stopped a lot of the production. He actually did not kill he didn't kill the Forge, but he canceled +3, so it just didn't finish regardless.
Currently, heavily supply block is the GSL Protoss player. He cannot really build any units, but with the forges that he has and the units that are in position, he should be able to defend against the incoming roaches. And as soon as the main army is back, he can just rely on his army once again, can set up his economy. There's no way for the Zerg to start another hatch.
With the Warp Prism, he can actually just go and drop Zealots to kill the 2 extractors to the bottom right, and if the roaches come, he can just pick up and then just defend his mining base. And actually, he's content sending his main army to kill the 2 extractors, which is all that the Zerg has left. No additional structures on the map whatsoever, not even dying ones, and the first extractor will die, and the last one, it falls, and that is it. No GG, he's just defeated here, out of structures.
And that would surprise me a little bit that we don't even see a GG of the Zerg.
He may not have realized that he only had those 2 structures left. Sometimes in the heat of battle, you're trying to focus on things, and well, just he didn't have time to GG. He was just eliminated from the game there, and that means that our perceived creator does take game number 1 with a great amount of pressure, knowing the time to go, knowing when he could basically succeed without any.
The attack was very, very well executed. That was really well done. And yeah, so we have the Protoss with 1-0 in the lead over his Zerg opponent, who's playing for Team TSL. And now we're already having our second invite. The map is, of course, going to be Daybreak.
Yeah.
Both players are in the lobby.
This is a great map for this matchup. It's, I think, the most figured out Protoss versus Zerg map that there is. Everybody knows exactly the Roach Warren timing to make sure you can hold that 4 gateway pressure. Sometimes people try to cut that out. It's really cool.
He tried to get the Roach Warren way too late. I think he tried to skip it entirely and just rely on his Zerglings. And then when he realized, oh, well, he's attacking, and he's attacking with quite a bit, then he was trying to get the Roaches into play, but it was already very, very late. So definitely a problem for the Zerg. And let's see what he's going to do this time. The map is currently loading, and we will find out if we are going to see a third game today or if this is the last match. We have currently Protoss versus Zerg on Daybreak. Let's just jump into the game.